So the specific z-score tells you how many standard deviations a data value is from the mean. Okay, so if a data value has a z-score of blank, then half the data are below and half the data are above. So a z-score tells you how many standard deviations a data value is from the mean. So if that z-score is what would be perfectly in that middle? That would be a z-score of 0. So again, if we're looking at like a bell curve, again, my stats teacher would just be like, he used to just grade us. Like we would literally just have to draw these. We would get a grade for them. So if we're looking at specific z-scores, this would be 0. Okay, 0 is going to be that perfect middle right there. So when we actually calculate it, again, it stands for 0 would be 0 standard deviations from the mean. If you're perfectly at the center there. Okay, so a lot of different ways you can think about it. People love math symbols. So the mean could be written as x bar, kind of like that is right there, or that little mu thing we talked about earlier. It actually shows you both scenarios down there. And then the standard deviation, it can be written as s, or it's going to be written as, again, lowercase s or sigma, like that, depending on the scenario that you're given. Okay. So try not to get too confused with the notation there. X bar and mean, and and mu stand for the mean. S or sigma stand for the standard deviation. So, and then it's pretty important to know that we usually go to 2 decimal places right there. So, kind of like the baseball football question, I'm going to break this up into 2 separate parts. So, if we've got the ACT, it says that the mean is 22.1. Sorry, 21.2. Again, trust what I write, not what I say. And the standard deviation is 5.1. Okay. The SAT has the mean of 1,060 and a standard deviation of 195. So if we are looking at the 2 different students who actually got, so then our specific X value is going to be the actual score for us to see where they are in comparison to the mean. So again, the specific X value comes from trying to compare them to the other students that took the ACT or the SAT. So our z-score for the ACT will be X, so 26 minus the mean, all divided by the standard deviation. When I subtract those, I get 0.94. Sorry, subtract and then divide, I get 0.94, positive 0.94. And then for the SAT, by the way, I'll always cross my Z's because they look like 2's. I've got 1230 minus 1,060 divided by 195. So that z-score would be 0.87. So we're looking at which one is the better score. Hopefully you're seeing that the red is a higher z-score, and that's what we want. So if you want to drop in the chat, does this person do these people do better than the average, or do they do worse? So again, based on this information here, either just the z-score or the actual question. Oh, the lights just turned on. It's not good. Whatever. Did they do better or worse than the average? So since that z-score is positive, great job, Steven, they would actually do better. These are both better than the average. Okay, so specifically that 0.94, if you're looking at the bell curve there, oh Lord, Where is coach fails when you need him? Oh my goodness. Whatever. Good enough. If 0 is the perfect center, 0.87 would be somewhere over there, and then 0.94 would be closer, farther away from the mean, which means they're doing better. They're higher. They're getting a better score than the 0.87. So the person who did better was the person on the ACT.